So guys, as soon as I thought we were done talking about all the negative stuff around Destiny 2, of course there's one more thing to add, and that is thanks to a new tweet that came from Destiny 2 Perk Insights, or at D2 Clarity, that reposted or showed off this really cool graph called popularity.report, which I'll have linked in the description, which actually shows off all of the player numbers for each of the different expansions from all the way back to Red War, Curse of Osiris, and even up to Edge of Fate. And through the graph, you can very easily see that Edge of Fate right now is the lowest amount of players we have ever had, beating out Curse of Osiris, which is a sentence I thought I would never actually say, because Curse of Osiris was just that bad. And to put into perspective, yes, Edge of Fate, the amount of people working on this expansion is probably a quarter of the amount of people that worked on Curse of Osiris, and during this time there was probably a load more devs at Bungie, because they also had Activision and a load of different studios, I think, working on the game. But Edge of Fate is all just Bungie, same with Final Shape, Lightfall, all that kind of stuff. So there is some context behind this graph that is very important to take into consideration. But that said, the numbers don't lie. The game is doing worse than it was when Curse of Osiris launched, and Curse of Osiris has been the meme of the worst expansion forever now, and somehow Edge of Fate is even beating that out, which is just absolutely insane. And I honestly do not know what Bungie needs to do to fix the game. A lot of people are suggesting just make a Destiny 3, which would be amazing, but I don't think a lot of people understand that Destiny 3 is going to take like 5 years minimum to actually make. Now, I'm not expecting Bungie to just release the game tomorrow. Obviously, it would be probably, if they started working on it today, we wouldn't see Destiny 3 until the earliest 2030. But to be honest, I kind of agree that Destiny 3 does need to happen. Obviously, players are losing interest in the game, as you can see by this chart here, but also there is another important chart to look at, popularity.report/population. You can see actively new players coming to the game. There are still new players playing when Edge of Fate launches and Reclamation. You can also see how many new players joined with each past season or expansion. We have a load of new players here in Red War, then it goes to Curse of Osiris, Warmind, and every past season and expansion that follows. And yes, there are still new players coming and playing Edge of Fate, which is shocking to me because of how bad the new player experience is currently in the game. I remember seeing Asdacroft, he recently went and played the new player experience again for Destiny 2, and it is just so incredibly bad. The only things that you can do as a new player is go through the New Light campaign, which is basically an updated version of the very first Destiny 1 mission, plus a couple of new ones, and then you're just thrown to the tower, and it's like, have fun, I guess, because there's nothing to actually do. There's no base campaign, there's no general storyline that hooks you into then purchasing the other DLC expansions, because following the new player experience, the next thing you're meant to probably do, in case you want to go through like a timeline, is go and purchase the Shadowkeep stuff and go through that expansion, which isn't the best. Then you go and purchase all the other expansions, which after like the 2 hours of gameplay that you have inside a new player experience, there's nothing to really hook you that makes you want to say, hey, maybe I do go and buy the other expansions. I mean, if you're a fan of Destiny 1 or just the gunplay in general and the feel of the game, that might help, but there's nothing to really hook you. So to see that there's actually new players playing, that's great. But overall, I feel like the sentiment around just Destiny 2 generally just isn't going to change. Year after year after year, as this graph shows, there's a lot of interest when a new expansion comes out, but then, as you can see, decline is a constant with this game. There's no ascension in this graph at all. Yes, there's little spikes, but it's always just going down, which is not what the game should be doing. This graph should be in reverse. It should be like, oh, the game's good, and it just keeps on getting better, rather than, oh, the game's terrible, maybe it'll get good this time, oh, wait, no, it doesn't. And it's like, what are we doing? At this point, we should just be really honing in on what Destiny does good, and not backpedaling on changes that we think will be good. One of the biggest downfalls with Edge of Fate was that Bungie really pushed hard onto innovating and updating some core systems of the game, which meant that there wasn't much new content to play in general. But we were hoping that with the core system updates, this would then be a good launching pad for then Bungie to make more new content. But sadly, Edge of Fate's base platform for what was meant to be a new starting point and a new like base game experience didn't work out, with people not liking the portal, not liking the end game grind, all this stuff that they're now having to go back and fix. It's literally like 2 steps forward, 15 steps back, because they're having to go back and fix all of the key problems. And honestly, I don't think that Renegades is going to be that much better, sadly. Now, obviously, they are updating the light level and problem. They're making an update, I think, next week, going over power grind and stuff to hopefully make that better. But I don't think a Star Wars themed expansion is really going to save Destiny at this point. And I feel like Destiny 3 really does need to be properly thought out at Bungie. A new Destiny game would immediately generate excitement because it just brings in just new people, and whilst there is new people still playing the game, a new game completely would just throw away all of the negative stuff that has been with Destiny 2. The fact that they're still adding content to this game, even though every past expansion has come with some form of negative press, means that if you look at Destiny 2 or just think of the name Destiny 2, you're mainly just going to remember the bad times of sunsetting, content removal, and things not going the way that Bungie really wanted. So a Destiny 3 would honestly be a very good start, a fresh, clean slate that hopefully they don't mess up. Now, honestly, I could go on for days on things that I would like to see in a Destiny 3, but I'm not Bungie, I'm not the people in charge of making the game. I don't know what they could do with a Destiny 3. There's people talking about doing a time skip, doing a whole complete refresh. I think Bife mentioned on stream yesterday that they could do a Final Fantasy XIV, a Realm Reborn thing, where they just completely nuke what is currently going on with Destiny and start completely fresh, which sounds interesting, but again, I just don't know. It's all very up in the air at the moment, and once again, Renegades does have me excited, but I do not think a lightsaber or a Star Wars themed blaster or some movie references are really going to save Destiny at this point. Destiny 3 really needs to be brought into consideration properly over at Bungie, in my opinion, and I feel like there is a very easy way, at least through my head, of how they could do it. Obviously, we have Marathon coming out probably in the next couple of months. I believe the estimate, or what people are speculating the release date to be, is going to be early next year. So take the money that Marathon makes, take the money that you get from Destiny Renegades, and then maybe get some Sony help and start pushing some devs onto a Destiny 3 project so that we can, at the earliest, get that by 2030. Now, obviously, when Destiny 3 is being made, not much can be done in terms of Destiny 2. There's going to be even less devs working on that, but if they're able to hire more devs, get some Sony help, I do feel like it is potentially possible. Now, obviously, I'm not a game dev. I'm talking out my ass right now. I have no idea what it will take to make a Destiny 3, but I just know for certain that if Bungie were to tweet tomorrow an image of just a D and a 3, people would lose their collective minds. And I would too, many people would. I feel like it's just a general good thing. A fresh, clean slate, remove all of the bad press that comes with Destiny 2 and start anew. And make it the game that people want. Include all of D1 and D2's past raids and even dungeon content if you want to, but just have everything else be kind of fresh and new. I could go on forever for what I want to see in Destiny 3, but that would make this video like an hour long, and I don't really want to do that. So I'll probably save it for another video if you guys are interested. But overall, those are just my rough, raw thoughts on this news. Obviously surprising. I'll leave this stuff linked in the description if you want to look at it all for yourself, because it is very interesting. There's a load of graphs that go over players per activity. There's even a graph that shows that PvP is the most played mode, even when you include things like raids and Caldera, which is just insane. So there's a lot of interesting stuff here that I'll link in the description that you guys can go and look at yourself. But yeah, general thoughts. It's not looking great, obviously, and I would love to see either a State of the Game article from the game director, who we've heard nothing from for months now. I think the last thing we heard from him was during interviews when content creators went out to play Edge of Fate. Haven't heard anything from him yet, so hopefully he's busy working like a 50-page State of the Game article that will release sometime soon. We know that there's a roadmap being worked on, so hopefully we get that next week, please. And apart from that, really got nothing else to say here. Hopefully stuff gets better. I am still very excited for Renegades. Hopefully it fixes a load of the game's core problems, but we're honestly just going to have to wait and see. I'm expecting the comments of this video to be pretty similar to past videos, but if you have any thoughts on what you would like to see Destiny do in the future, be it a Destiny 3, Destiny 1 Classic, or what updates you think the game would need, obviously leave them down in the comments below. And with that all said, we'll see you all in the next one.